criminal stories. Welcome to the Midnight Dark. Please subscribe US. We need your support tonight. IT isn't just about killers and their deeds. Because some cases don't end with a courtroom. Some cases never end at all. In 1951, police investigated a man who confessed to 4 murders. He knew every detail, the houses, the names, the dates. But no bodies were ever found. When asked how he knew so much, he said, "She told me." The woman in red. He died in prison, but his cell walls were covered in charcoal drawings of a smiling woman in a dress. A bank in New York claimed to have been robbed in 1962. Witnesses reported gunshots, hostages, panic. But when police arrived, the bank was quiet. No money was missing. Surveillance photos showed a woman in a red dress walking through the crowd. Everyone in the photo was staring at her, but no one remembered her leaving. The case was closed as mass hysteria. A man was found dead in a hotel room. No signs of forced entry. The door was locked from the inside. His last phone call to the front desk was recorded. He said, "She's here. She won't stop smiling." When staff entered, he was dead, but the bathroom mirror was cracked from the inside. And on the glass, in red lipstick, were the words, "Thank you for the company." A detective in the 80s reported that multiple suspects across different states, none connected, all gave the same confession. They had been helped by a woman in a red dress. One suspect said she stood beside him while he committed his crime, whispering into his ear. Another said he woke up to find her lying next to him, her hands covered in blood. None of them could explain how they all knew the same woman. An old police evidence room was being cleaned out in 1979. Officers found a box labeled "Case Closed, Do Not Open." Inside were photos from crime scenes. In every photo, a woman in red stood near the bodies. She wasn't in the original case files, but the freshly developed prints showed her clearly. One officer touched the photo. Within a week, he was dead. His body position was identical to the victim in the photo he touched. A murder trial in 1967 was interrupted when every microphone in the courtroom picked up a second voice. A woman's voice. She kept saying, "He's innocent." "It was me." The defendant stared at an empty chair and began to laugh. When the judge demanded the recording be played back, the voice was still there. But IT didn't just say, "IT was me." It said the judge's name and his family's address. In 1988, a serial killer was placed in solitary confinement. Guards reported he talked to someone every night. They heard him say, "Yes, I'll do it. Yes, I'll tell them." He scratched a message into the wall with his own nails. "She wants out." When they opened the cell one morning, he was gone. Doors locked. No escape route. Only his prison uniform was left behind. And on the bed, a red dress. Long after he retired, a detective published a diary that his family found after his death. In it, he wrote about every case he handled that involved her, the woman in red. He called her the accomplice who never got caught. On the final page, his handwriting was chaotic, rushed. She is not a suspect. She is the crime itself. She is the act, the blood, the confession. When you speak her, you carry her. That final page was soaked in blood. But autopsy reports say he died of a heart attack. No bones, no blood loss. So where did the blood come from? Narrator's confession. "I have been digging into these cases for weeks. And last night, someone slipped a file under my door. Inside were photos of me, sitting here, researching, recording, and in the background, always the same figure. The woman in red, smiling." A detective in 2010 claimed that a case file on his desk began to fill itself out. Names, dates, locations, all written in red ink. When he checked the names, they were real people, victims who hadn't even died yet. Within weeks, every name on the page was dead. The last name? His own. His body was found at his desk, his hand still clutching the file. But the file was gone. Only one red dress button was left behind. In 1972, an entire jury failed to appear for the final day of a trial. 12 people. Gone. The courthouse received one envelope. Inside was a photograph. All 12 jurors, seated in a dark room, a woman in red standing behind them. Their eyes were black. The case was dropped. The jurors were never seen again. A killer in 1999 agreed to a final confession on tape. But when police played it back, there was only one voice. A woman's voice. She said, "They're all mine. And you are next." The officer who held the tape resigned the same night. His family says he never spoke again. But he left behind a note with one sentence. She is the criminal, but she is also the judge. I thought these were just stories. Files. Records. But tonight, I looked at my desk, and there was a new file waiting. I opened it. It wasn't about a killer, or a victim, or a detective. It was about you. Your name. Your face. Your location. Someone has written you into the case. And do you know who signed it? Her. The woman in red. Because the moment you heard this story, you stopped being a listener. You became a suspect. Check your room. Check your screen. Check the dark behind you. Because she's already there, writing your confession for you. And when she's finished, the crime will never end.